Okay, Tom, let me just say that I want to start this week with the music portion, which we usually close with, but I need to say that Julien Baker she brings the fucking thunder, and
Ooh,
this should
there it
not be ignored for
is.
any longer. I feel sorry for moving mountains, Tom's other recommendation from last week. Y'all had no chance this week. I'm sorry. I bet you're a group of hardworking good boys, and you're gonna get yours when the time's right. But for this moment, I need to just say that Julien Baker, the song "Something" you told me to listen to.
Yeah.
Well, I listened to three. Right, there was something. Well, and then it was the album "Sprained Ankle." Right.
Yeah.
I still haven't heard a song I don't like. But the whole point is, oh, it's so hauntingly. It's like I want to be pumped up, but I am also like about to just die or something. It's just like, and the song "Something," she's describing about the moment and what it feels like after a breakup when she's watching someone drives away. And, she should have said something, should have said something, should have said something, but she couldn't find nothing to say. And then she lets the pavement and the sidewalk suck her in, and she's just asking out loud, why are you going? Where are you going? And the guy can't hear her. He's driving away. She's getting sucked up into the goddamn pavement.
I got chills right now just hearing you talk about it.
Oh, and she's just sitting there. Okay, here's my recommendation in advance. Everyone needs to just buck the up and give this girl the due they need, because this is not something that should be trifled with anymore. This is just, stop wasting your time. You need to go on YouTube, watch her Tiny Desk concert. She almost makes herself cry in that little room. She's so meek, but and it's almost like she can't even sing loud enough to bring the proper thunder she's trying to bring, but she doesn't have to, because that's not the damn point. And she just...
Good. I've been holding on to that one for a while.
Excellent recommendation. She's touring this summer, I found out, with the Decemberists. They're stopping by Pittsburgh for all our Erie listeners in April, I believe. Low-key might be one of the most hard-hitting, most bringing the fucking thunder-esque tours of early 2017, the first half. I haven't done the legwork to make that type of claim, but I'm telling you, thank you, Tom. Also, from the week before, go check out Moose Blood's latest album, Blush. A solid little poppy, rocky record from 2016. Very digestible, very fun, but not a throwaway like pop bullshit. I mean, they're a bunch of hardworking boys. You know what I mean? They're good boys. They're hardworking boys. They're there to do some to do some damage. It's good stuff. Tom, I feel like I've been ignoring your recommendations and giving you all this bullshit, but the world needs to know about Julien Baker, basically, and Moose Blood's very good 2016 album as well.
Yeah. Before I ask you more about that, I just want to give a quick shout out. My boy Michael Hegner produced the Julien Baker album. I met him after I interviewed him, like a production interview. It's on elemental.fm. You can read it right now. Right now, his post has more than half of the views of the entire rest of the website. It went very well. A lot of people liked it. So if you want to check it out, it's in the editorial section.
Give us a little teaser, because first of all, Tom, great idea. That sounds like a great blog. Your hobbies are very productive. But I want to know, just so the good people at home can go to the blog and listen to what this guy has to say about this chick. Give us a little teaser. Give us a little taste.
Sure. Well, and the funniest thing I found out through the interview was one of my old professors at the Art Institute. I studied audio production. He actually taught Michael one of my professors. He transferred schools. He now works at Middle State, Tennessee or something.
This is Sprained Ankle we're talking about?
Yeah. So the dude, Michael, who recorded it, I think he's younger than me.
I believe it. She might be 13. I can't tell. Doesn't matter. She brings the thunder. End of story.
This was like one of his first, I think it was like his first big recording project, and they had no idea it was going to be so successful. They were just kind of friends. And in the interview, like I've done a couple interviews before, and they were with like the producer of Moose Blood, and I did an interview with the producer of Pup, which you might like too. Maybe that'll be my recommendation this
All right,
week.
maybe we can do next week's at the end of the episode like usual. I just needed to address this. I needed to address this.
Sure.
Can you find the Moose Blood guy's interview on the blog too?
Yeah, that's also in elemental.fm/editorial. If you search my name as the author.
Hey, hold on, Tom. What was that quick URL again? I'd forgotten, didn't hear you real quick, but I do want to look it up after this. I listened to this.
It was www.elemental.fm/editorial.
/editorial?
/ I always thought they were backslashes, but
either way,
open my eyes, they're /.
Follow us on Twitter, find the link, meet these people, listen to these bands that Tom Kelly's putting in the legwork. He's a hardworking man. These are good vibes, except for when you listen to Julien Baker's songs, because it is so tragically powerful. But it makes me want to rock out as well. I'm very, very conflicted when I listen, because when she's talking about disappearing into that pavement, you know, we've all, well, not all of us have been there, but those who have been there can feel the fucking hurt and the pain, and just that gasping for air, kind of like you feel like your voice is bouncing back off the walls at you. It's really just hauntingly beautiful in a big way. And we got a little retweet from Martha.
Their record label. Yeah.
Cool. So for all the folks at home, Tom and I aren't sitting here pretending to be some kind of hipster bullshitters here. This isn't an underground music podcast. We just started doing the music thing at the end for fun. Okay, we'd be talking about Blink-182 every week in the pop punk. Like, this is not the pop punk revolution podcast we thought it was going to be, but we don't. It's not turning into an indie darling podcast either. This is just an honest relaying of a message. Julien Baker, she was already on NPR Tiny Desk, so we're not breaking ground here. Just for anyone left, if you're not on that train, get on it.
So good, yeah, and The production, I think, is just amazing because this guy, Michael, like, I've interviewed, like, Grammy-winning producers, right? This kid was, like, I think a student at the time, or maybe he just graduated, and it was so awesome because I would, like, ask him questions about, like, why did you do it like this? How did it end up this way? And he'd just be like, luck, man. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. That's how it worked out. It sounded great.
Do you have the audio to that?
No, it was an email interview.
Oh, okay, cool. Well,
yeah,
I'm excited to read it. I know everyone listening is.
It's super interesting, yeah.
But perhaps regularly scheduled programming now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alrighty. Okay, so Tom, you're a working man.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
I'm
you're
tired, man. I am so tired.
Yeah. Like weeks of like needing the job after day one, you're like, this is bullshit.
I know, dude.
How'd it go, man? Tell me the story.
So it was good. Yesterday was my first day at Solar City, which is like a full service solar panel installer. I'm working on
It's an Elon Musk company for the fans who hadn't listened to the past couple episodes, right?
Yep.
That drew you in the first place.
Yes. So I am installing these solar panels. My first day was 8 hours of online courses, which I found out were supposed to take 2 days, but I just blasted through it, man. They didn't believe me when I said that I thought I was done.
The training?
Yeah. And it was just
was it the typical how to pick up a box, don't touch other people's butts at work type stuff?
It was a little bit more involved than that. I'm working on a roof, so we have like full harnesses with like safety gear so that you don't fall off and die, you know.
Right.
So it was a lot of safety stuff, which as soon as I got on that roof today, they're like, yeah, no one does any of that stuff.
Well, yeah, sir, as long as you sign the paper, even digitally, I'm sure it's just cool. You know, if he falls or dies, he can't sue us, and you know, it is what it is. Every job, you have to do one of those little courses, I think.
Right.
I've had jobs where we had to do it once a year, and it's the same reminder. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anyway, sounds like the first day is always nice because it's kind of like the first day of class in school, right? Like we're just touching on the syllabus. You're not, you know, we're not going to set you on a roof and ask you to complete one. You know, this is let's just ease you in, get a little pay. sit in the classroom for a couple seconds.
Yeah. So I did that, and then today I went out with a crew of 4 other guys, and we didn't we set up for installation of 2 different houses. So we were on the roofs. There's a whole electrical system. There's brackets to hold the panels, and these were houses. So I'm on like the maintenance crew rather than the actual installation crew. The only difference is the installation crew does the initial installation, and the crew that I am with, we take down panels on houses that roofs need to be repaired, and then we put them back. So we're still kind of installing the same way the installers do, but it's not for the first time.
That's interesting. So are there shingles underneath? This is just a layman's question, I suppose. Are there shingles underneath the panel that absorbs the sun's power?
Yeah, so like all these houses that I'm going to be doing have brand new shingles on them, and then we just go in and like cut them up, drill holes through them, tear them off, like just totally obliterate these brand new roofs.
So your solar roofs are waterproof, obviously.
The solar panels, yeah.
Solar panels. Okay. So everything you do is on the up and up. It's just in addition to the shingles that have to be there when the house is built.
Yeah, so the solar panels are raised off like 6 inches off the roof.
Okay.
So
I'm just trying to create a visual in my own mind.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, man. So a couple weeks, paycheck will come in, huh?
Yeah, it's first of all kind of fucking terrifying working at a 35-degree angle when you're like 20 feet in the air. I feel like I'm learning how to walk for the first time because there's no comfortable angle to walk from. There's no way to like rest up there because you're always at a weird
calibration
angle.
in the nation, dude. You got to reset the whole. It's a new way of thinking, man.
Yeah, and I'm trying to not. We have 5 guys up there with tools everywhere, and we're all walking back and forth, and our ropes are getting like kind of tangled. So I'm just trying not to die. I like stepped on my rope, and they're circular ropes, so the rope slipped out, and I like fell onto my knees, and
no.
I feel like every day is going to be a battle for my life on that roof. It's
So our friend Zach, the third host, he'll be coming shortly, like we always say. Next episode he'll be on, but
we promise.
He's a mason by trade, but he's one of the guys at the top of the house who's cutting the blocks to make a chimney look good. He let me work with his company, or his friend did, for about a week, about 6 years ago in the summer, and just the whole process of them mixing the mud or the mortar or whatever the hell, and lifting it on the pulley system up, and while the empty bucket's coming down on the other. I was the pull guy because I have no skill like in that field. They're like, mud's coming up. I'm like, oh, cool, mud. Yeah, sure. That's probably lingo for. I actually was clueless. I had no idea. So I was like, pull this. Don't let that hit you. I was the whole speed of it. I guess I can only imagine what being on a roof with a bunch of other people that know exactly what they're doing had to have been jarring at first. Not to mention walking at an angle.
Yeah, and your feet kind of slide around in your shoes a little bit, and I just like need to cut my toenails, so they're like super sore. I'm gonna have to get used to it, and it's January 31st as we record this. It was 50.
Only for 10 more minutes on the East Coast.
Right.
Cutting it close there, Tom.
I don't want to lie to the people.
The good people.
The
good people of San Diego.
So yeah, it's January. It's still January. It's still winter. It was only 55 degrees today, and it felt
pretty temperate though.
It felt like 100 on that roof, and I am already dreading summer, and it's not even close.
No. Yeah. Well,
but it was fun.
So
it's like
you get a lunch break, or what's the day like? How's it play out for you?
Yeah, so
does Elon Musk chop her in and say hello? You're doing the Lord's work. Or?
I wish, dude. That would make everything. That would make falling to my death worth it. If I saw him in a chopper on my way down, I would be smiling.
Elon, can you hear me?
Yeah. So like, I showed up at 6:45. At 7:00, we started getting the trucks ready. We drove out to the first house. We got there around like 8 or so. we kind of dicked around until 8:30. And then we got up and we were installing till about noon. So then we went to lunch. You can just kind of take like as long as you want, really. It was about a half an hour. I forgot to clock out today. The whole clock in, clock out system is on your phone, which I think is amazing.
Ooh.
So we decided to, rather than
Is Elon Musk invested in that company?
the one that you clock in and out, I think they might have
Yeah.
invented it, to be honest with you.
That's awesome, but also chillingly. I don't know. That's interesting.
So we decided to go past 8 hours and do a 10-hour day, and we're gonna do a 4-day week this week, I guess.
Well, it's a job by job thing, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, which is kind of like,
So if you have good weather and the bad weather's coming, if you can squeeze in 10 hours in daylight, I mean, you do, right? Or I don't know. I'm not a foreman.
right. Well, summertime, apparently, we work, or starting in the spring, we work 4 10-hour days. That's just going to be how it is, and then we'll have a 3-day weekend.
Okay. That's kind of interesting. That's nice.
I'm really excited about that. But yeah, so this week we're gonna.
By then you'll be used to it.
Or 4-day week. Yeah,
Right.
totally. Yeah,
You'll have your sea legs, as it were.
I kept trying to pull that parallel. But I'm tired, man. I'm ready for bed.
You texted me yesterday, and you were like, I told you we could take the night off and do it a day later, but you were adamant. You said, I want to see if I can keep this up. But I can only imagine you're a little sleepy Pooh Bear.
Well, I'm tired, but the thing is, it gives me an extra day to edit, and I kind of break the show into 2 days because I'm also editing the Space podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And
what's it called, and where can they find them on Twitter, Tom?
It's I think they might have just changed the Twitter handle. But the show's called Ad Astra.
Man.
I know. But what you can do,
I feel like we already teased it one time.
I think it's
Not that anybody f***ing is on Twitter apparently in this country that is listening to this podcast. You crazy sadistic bastards making us suffer over here. Trying to start a little conversation. Talk to your fellow neighbor. Keep a freaking dialect open. Dialogue. I misspoke and I'm sorry and now I'm embarrassed. But the whole point is, Ad Astra over here, they're good boys doing hardworking boys. And, anyway, what's their new Twitter handle, Tom, is I guess the point I'm trying to make.
Okay, so it's one of the two. It's either at Ad Astra Podcast, or the what they wanted to change it to was at Astra Podcast, so that the at sounds like ad, but I'm worried about the searchability of that. So we're gonna.
That sounds like that movie, The Wonder, or The Wonders, or no, that thing you do when Tom Hanks is like, lose the O-Neters. We're just gonna spell it Wonders. This is, you know what I mean? It's too confusing. It's kind of like, so whatever happened to the O-Neters?
Right.
I wonder whatever happened to the O-Neters. Right. He's like, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so it's either
the good folks over at Ad Astra. They're good boys. They're hardworking boys, and you should check them out.
Yes, nothing is live yet. Last week I promised a blog post with a sample of the show. That didn't happen. I don't think anyone's complaining, but
the people that are listening now to us, and again, they're out there. It's documented. There are several of you that are just making us suffer by continuing to listen, but not listening to a single word we say.
It's creepy, man.
It's a little strange, but I love you guys big time. Unless Aaron Lonke is just traveling to all these cities and downloading all these episodes from different devices, which I would not even put past him if I'm being frank. Shout out to Aaron Lonke. And if you're a fan, you know Aaron better than you know us, I guess, at this point. But anyway, yeah. So we're moving along, and the network's coming along, and we've had a couple off weeks. Some personal things have popped up. So this is kind of the first week, dating back pre-holiday probably.
Yeah.
Because we had a couple holiday episodes. Then we had a couple kind of episodes where it got not dark, but definitely the tone changed. But, I don't think it was negative. It's just things that are part of life came into our own lives. And but we wanted to take it back to regularly scheduled programming to this week. And talk about our heroes.
Yeah.
But not in like the tone of the past 2 weeks, like, I really need this somebody. That's like a horrible Kings of Leon impression. But yeah, so just like childhood heroes that we kind of like talk about a little bit of hero, a little bit of moral compass, but through the lens of like the childhood, like cartoon fictional character idols we had. Is that accurate? This all came branched off of Elon Musk being Tom's uncle, like that, but he doesn't know it yet. Uncle Elon.
I wish.
Anyway, he's like a hero of yours, so we're looking to head in that direction.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
That was kind of a clunky transition. I'm trying my hardest here.
It's okay.
We'll take it.
I mean, that's why people won't talk to us on Twitter, because you just f*** it all up.
Okay, Tom, for trying to keep it positive, you're being like a pretty fucking negative Nancy right now, dude, and I don't even think I deserve it, to be quite honest with you. You know what? Let's just have a State of the Union right here, right now. That was unwarranted, and I feel like you're belittling behavior, and not to mention, you're never ready when I get home from work. And no, I'm just kidding. Tom puts up with so much shit from me. I never even turn in my audio files like within 2 days of recording, defeating the whole purpose of recording on Tuesdays. But my idols from childhood, I'm going to name 3.
Are these like in chronological order here or what?
No, I'm just going to say them, and then you'll say them, and then maybe we'll discuss them as we go through.
I think, how about you do yours, and then we'll discuss, and then I'll do mine and we discuss. How's that sound?
Okay, you sure you don't want to go first?
I feel like you have more interesting ones, so maybe I should go first.
Ooh, little teaseonomics over here. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So mine, I've had different ones at different times in my life.
So we didn't set up the parameters for these. Do they have to be fictional, or can they be,
No.
like, you know what I mean?
No.
Okay. But you got the tone based off my text earlier that mine are mostly cartoon characters from when I was in pre-middle school.
Right.
Were the basis of my moral compass today. And that's not a punchline of any sort.
Well, actually, isn't your bio on elemental.fm?
Yeah. I even included it on my bio on the site.
So he's not joking around, people. He is.
No, this is for real. No, this is how I make most of my decisions. But so your first one would be what?
Well, I guess maybe these two happened at the same time. I've talked at length about how much I look up to my dad, right?
Yes.
So sorry, that's kind of weak. It's not a cartoon character. But yeah, my dad has definitely been my.
Yeah, you say that like it's the lamer option. Like, sorry, I don't put all my faith in an animated being, but I kind of look up to my dad. It's just like, what a loser.
I remember from like a super early age, just him being like everything, right? He was always a strong.
We share the same name.
Huh? Yeah, shared the same name. He was always super supportive of everything, I mean, even like the band, that we were in together in high school.
He's got good advice for anyone who's willing to listen to him.
Amazing advice.
Real concise too. Unlike, me, I guess. Just like in under 3 sentences, he could just rock your fucking world. And I've only talked to the guy a handful. Just like, well, sometimes with this and then back when so like, I'm like, oh my God, like, gosh, it's just, he'll give you an example of like, or he'll phrase what you're trying to tell him better within seconds, have an immediate example of what happened in his life, but like more interesting. And then he'll hit you with that third part, which is the advice that is just like how to move forward to the T. And it's like, God, you majestic son of a bitch.
Yeah, like for an example, I went through this year where I was moving around a lot, and I was like I was moving in a station wagon, like taking like 20 trips, literally holding onto the mattress from the roof with my bare hands, and like a jumper cable like pinched to the ends. It was super janky, and I was like, Dad, I'm so tired of moving. I have too much shit. And it's been like, I'm working all the time.
This is the Virginia vibes, right?
Yeah, so it was back and forth a lot, and he was like, yeah, I once moved an entire 2-bedroom apartment on the New York subway. And I was like, okay, I feel really lucky right now.
Yeah, seriously. God, Tommy Sr. Right. Or you're not a junior, but.
But anyway, yeah. So like he's been.
How long did you have that car? It had to have been like an 88 or something.
It was a 97.
Still though, still.
It was a sick
I keep
car.
forgetting that 99 and 2009 aren't the same thing, and that 10 years passed, and that the 90s weren't the last decade to occur.
Yeah.
And I know that memes have pointed that out for the several few months before I just said that, and I'm not dropping a hot steaming take on anybody by saying it, but still kind of shocking, and a 97 did happen a long time ago, 20 years ago to be in fact. So
yeah, I feel like it's 3 years ago maybe.
it's an old car. It's an old car.
Yeah. I don't have it anymore. I do miss it. Car insurance was basically free because it was so old. My dad gave me.
Would you name it? Because I know you name all your inanimate stuff.
It was the Wendy wagon because we had my band at the time had a song called Wendy Peppercorn, which is the character from whatever.
The Sandlot, in which Squints kisses when he drowns himself in the pool just for a little makeout sesh.
Yep.
And it works. It's a little pervy, but he ends up marrying her, and they have a boatload of kids. So what can you really say?
All right. So yeah,
fortune favors the bold, some might say, and in that case, it did.
So we had a song that everyone liked at the time we just called it Wendy, so I called it the Wendy Wagon, whatever.
There you go.
Anyways, this got off, but my dad is just like amazing.
I don't care. I'm more interested. I love your talking about your old car. That thing was crazy. I'm surprised it got as far as it did.
I loved it.
Sorry
man.
to sidetrack, but yeah. I'll stop.
you
know that's my weakness on this podcast.
I spent the night on the roof of that car in the rain at a Walmart parking lot, and
why were you on top?
Because I had a sleeping bag that was like Sub-Zero. And it was weirdly comfortable. I was kind of like my head was propped up on the roof rack with a sweater underneath it, and
that's an interesting part of people that I guess are not vagrants, transients perhaps.
Right.
Well, there's a guy named Matt Lawell who went to OU. He was a postie ahead of me by a few years. He did one of those things where you go see a bunch of ballparks in one summer, right?
Right.
And to save money, he slept in Walmart parking lots. And that he wrote about it in his blog. You should go check it out. It's like a minor league season or something. Google minor league Matt Lawell,
right.
Lawell. But he writes about how to be a transient, basically, because they showered and stayed at hotels sometimes, but a whole summer's worth of baseball tickets?
Right.
No way. You know what I mean? So I didn't even know Walmart was... They don't like openly welcome it, I don't think.
No,
but it's free,
do.
right?
They do. And we stayed in
really?
Walmarts when we were on tour in 2009. We were out for like 15 days, and we slept in the destination at night was a Walmart, and like truckers stay there. Like it's like their policy that people can stay overnight.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You do kind of enter their world when you go into that parking lot. They're always real deep. Like you know where you are no matter where in the country you are, kind of. Like
yeah.
you're in that deep-ass parking lot, and it's going down. Anyway, so your dad, obviously.
Yeah. He just always has good advice. He's always there to talk. He always knows the right thing to say, and if I complain too much, I said this in the last episode, I think, but he'll only pity me for about a day. And if I complain about the same thing 2 or 3 times, he'll be like, all right, you need to take care of this,
He gives you what you need.
Yeah.
A little bit of mourning period, but then he hits you with the good stuff when you need it.
Right. So yeah, he always has been, always will be my hero. At an early age, I don't need to dwell on this one too much. Tommy Pickles and his sense of adventure. Really, I was really.
So you're big
drawn
on
to
the
him.
same name thing,
right? You'll see a thing.
Well, did that happen intentionally back when you were reflecting on this before we recorded? Did you realize this, or?
Well, actually, I've thought about this as I was just talking because I think he might be my earliest like fictional or non-relative.
Sure
guy.
I mean, he gathers the troops in a very, you know what I mean, like not that everyone gives dramatic speeches like in a TV show or anything, but I mean. He's always got something in that diaper or diaper, as it were, that, he let's break out of this bitch and let's go do some good. Or not good all the time. Sometimes it's mischief, but maybe that's part of the spice of life. But I like that one a lot. Is there an episode that speaks to you in particular?
Well, I liked the Rugrats movie a lot. The first movie when Dill is born. when you see, I don't know why, but every time I see a banana, I think of this thing he said. But basically, he hates his baby brother because he's taking the attention away. He's crying, screaming, hurting him, whatever. But then that like circus train crashes and the monkeys try to take him away. And like all of a sudden he's like, yo, I'm a big brother. Like I need to take care of him. Like he doesn't even like really think about it. He just knows it. And just seeing like that huge change in like compassion, I thought was like, it got me every time, man. And I remember he's trying to get the monk or his brother back, and he had a can of baby food, and he was like, "Ooh, the monkeys want the Nanners." Like I just thought it was so funny. And he like throws the bananas to the monkeys. I don't know, but every time I eat a banana, sometimes I say it out loud. Megan has no idea what I'm talking about.
Nanners is fun to even think about. Before tonight, I had never heard that, and I just am glad we went down this path.
Yeah.
If only because I am now aware of Nanners.
Yeah,
as a
that's good stuff.
But I like that. That whole look. Everyone needs each other to a certain. You never know when you're going to need. I saw this shit on Facebook the other day. It was like a redneck explains a very important lesson with 2 lighters, and he's talking like, this one's been sitting out in the rain all night, but this one's been inside, and sometimes you just need to help one another. And he puts the gas on the one that's been outside, and he lights the other one, and it helps the other one light.
Oh,
he's like,
right.
You never know what the other person's been through. What the hell, you can be there for somebody because you don't know. And something, hell, you might never know when you need someone to be there for too. Holler at your boy here. And then he like growls or something. But it's actually kind of a beautiful sentiment. You know what I mean? Right. So, he was saying be there for somebody. And I like that Tommy thing about, look, as much as what's been going on in my day, but this dude's my brother. This is my, you gotta have a, you give it out for it to come back. I like that a whole lot, Tom.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And you are a loyal friend, so you're not just blowing smoke up people's asses with this I like people named Tom thing. You are practicing what you preach.
I try, man. Thank you. That makes me happy that you think that.
Well, it's the fucking truth, and it's also what Tommy Pickles would do. So, I mean, this is good vibes all around, to be quite honest.
Good. So my next...
If this last one's not named Tom, I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm kidding.
All right, so I have one more, but now that I'm thinking about it...
that super thick silence. No, come on, lay it on me.
Okay. So, my Rugrats phase was between, like around age 7. I remember my 7th birthday was Rugrats themed. So now I'm about 13. No, let's say 12. We've alluded to just being the biggest Blink-182 fans ever.
Oh, God.
And the reason that I am a Blink-182 fan, the reason I'm a musician.
You even do it, you son of a bitch.
Travis Barker.
Oh, thank God.
You thought I was going to say Tom?
I knew you were going to say Tom. Oh, dude. You just, oh, man. you get that, like, warm feeling when you, like, your body feels warm and then cools off after, like, a tense, Okay, Travis, I'll give you, a former Aquabat album.
Oh, yeah.
Pool Party. It's a good tune.
It would have been too perfect if it was Tom. But no, like, Travis, so the reason that I am a musician...
If it was Tom, that would be like, also, I'm kind of shitty sometimes. Just like... That's the message you
And I've been abducted by aliens. Although I have seen UFOs, and I'm not even kidding you.
Let's talk about that right now.
No.
Can we talk about it soon?
Yes. I also wanted to talk about ghost stories at some point, too, so we'll get to that.
Well, do a quick Travis Barker thing, because it sounds like we're on to some pretty good alien shit here. We can always come back to the hero stuff.
No. Travis Barker. We're gonna stay somewhat focused.
Okay,
and we'll tease future episodes when I talk about my UFO sightings, and I'm not kidding.
Okay, next week, folks, aliens and ghosts, which I'm just so scared of both. We can talk about this later. It went from being good vibes to me just, I'm in a closet recording a thing. I don't know what's happening outside my closet. Yeah, if you're trying to make me scared, it's working, and I don't like it. But Travis Barker, let's keep it back on the Blink vibes.
Right. So at this point, I'm 11 years old. My sister's room is in the attic, where mine ended up being by the time that we were friends.
Sure.
And my sister's friend, Cara Bartow, was into, like, really good music, but I didn't really, I wasn't in that world yet. Like she listened to like The Offspring and stuff like that, you know?
Very cool. Very cool for the junior high.
Right. Yeah. So I'm looking through her CD case, just like, man, I need to listen to like, you know, something different. And I see a really big pair of boobs. So of course I pop that CD in, and it's none other than Enema of the State. So I'm listening, I'm liking it, but it's like pretty passive, you know? And then all of a sudden, All the Small Things comes on, the down, and like at that second, I was like, holy crap, I need to be a musician. Like, I need to learn how to play drums because this is the most amazing thing I've ever heard in my life.
Okay, Tom, you made the fatal mistake of bringing up Blink-182 in the middle of this podcast because eventually we're just going to do an episode where you and I just go toe-to-toe and just break this down. But I am just... It took you till track 8 to realize that album was, you know what I mean? Like, it starts off with Dumpweed, arguably their best song.
Yeah,
definitely their best concert starting song.
Oh yeah. I feel like I was listening, but like I don't really remember it the way I remember All the Small Things. I don't know.
Okay, I mean, it comes in hard. I'll give you that, and it is the hit off the album technically.
Right.
But you're passing Dumpweed on that track. You're passing, or on the way to that track 8. You're passing Aliens Exist track 3, where it's the
and Don't Leave Me.
It's a good
number
drum.
2. I mean,
yeah, you know, what are you talking about?
I know.
Okay.
I know.
I'm sorry.
I'm 11.
It was your first time through it. Yes, and I'm sorry.
All right, so
I'm getting worked up.
So
I just feel very strongly that Dumpweed is the best track, possibly in the discography.
No, you're right, and I'm
not necessarily right because I definitely want people because we need to have this conversation at some point.
We will. It's a bummer that
save that for a later time.
It's a bummer that it's pretty misogynistic. But
what, Dumpweed?
Yeah.
I need a girl that I can train. Yeah, it doesn't sound good when you say it, does it? But he also talks about how he's a in the song too, though. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean,
you know, like his dad is just like, look, if you get into a fight, you're gonna lose, and what's gonna happen then? You know what I mean? Maybe that's some parent stuff. I don't know.
Right.
Early 2000s divorce culture. What can you say? But Travis, yeah, he's a good drummer. And then you became a drummer shortly after. It sounds like.
Well, I started mowing lawns, and I mowed lawns for like 2 years. I saved up $800. And before my 13th birthday, I bought the drum set that I still have and still play to this day. And
you earned it.
And you know,
you've sanded it and right?
Yeah, I took the wrap off. Actually, in a Walmart parking lot, I took the wrap off. I was sanding it down. I bought a little sanding block. I was sanding my floor tom, and someone thought it was a keg, and they called the police. And the police rolled by, and they're like, "Yeah, that's not a keg. See you later." Like,
yeah. Oh, it's a drum.
Super
okay.
Weird.
I wish Walmart would change this weird policy where people sleep overnight in these parking lots.
So, you know, I started a band once I started 8th grade, met you and Zach. And this is back in the days of Kazaa or LimeWire, whatever I was on. I downloaded like every Blink-182 thing I could find. And there was a video of, it was like, I don't know, just some behind the scenes thing. And Travis was saying like, yeah, you know, the guys go out and like party after shows, and I just kind of stay back at the hotel and I practice. He's like, yeah, I don't really drink or anything. And as I've said before, I've never drank. And
Tom, are you trying to tell me that for the first time in our friendship, the reason you don't drink is because of Travis Barker?
No, not at all. But I connected with that. I was like, oh, dude.
No, hold on, time out. I'm not saying it's lame. Okay. I'm saying, of course he's one of your idols, and it makes total sense. And I'm just like it has to have been a starter down a path of the righteousness in which you practice.
No, I knew so I went to Catholic school. In 5th grade, my friend started drinking, and I just knew. I was like, man, I'm never going to do that.
Catholic school is a definitely weird thing. Like, if something about the rules that exist there
just make
people
crazy.
go nuts. Yeah, I like. There's something about there's something about it that just makes you rebel in the wrong ways. I'm not saying don't rebel, but I'm glad you steered clear. I mean, yeah, Catholic school. What do you know? Not a hot take. You know, I'm full of anti-hot takes, which is Catholic school. You know, might be a little tough on kids, huh? Produces some weirdos.
Hey, Jerry.
Hey, Jerry, don't think you think so. But so your dad, Tommy Pickles, and Travis Barker. So can you at least admit, or maybe I'm wrong, but is this leading you down the path of not drinking or something like that?
No,
I mean, it hit home.
It had nothing. I already made the choice before then, but it just I felt like, you know, this famous rock star doesn't like go out and party, and I just thought it was cool. Like, I already had my mind made up.
You know what you just described to me? Like a kid in Brooklyn in the 19-whatevers, and Joe DiMaggio says something. He's like, "Hey, Dad, Joe DiMaggio." You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of cool. Like, you already had your mind made up, but it's like, hey, that's the definition of like latching onto a hero, right? Like, hey, Travis Barker doesn't drink either, and he's great at the drums. You know what I mean? Like, I'm picturing like the prototypical Timmy in the 40s, but it sounds like that was a super obvious, easy one for you. Like, hell yeah, dude, I'm just gonna try to be as good as I can be at drumming, and I don't need a drink to be like a rock star.
Well, and here's the thing about his work ethic. Like, I've really admired it, but I never duplicated that. It's something that I always wish that I did. Like, so when I was younger, I was good at drums for my age, but I didn't work as hard as some of my friends did, like Jess Catella or even like Josh Seymour or something.
Sure. Which I don't consider them to be great drummers.
Well, Jess Catella is a fantastic drummer.
All the bands I've seen him in, maybe he was playing a different... He just might be a good at all instruments. I've only ever seen him play bass and guitar, maybe.
Huh. But yeah, like...
I could be totally wrong. I only saw him, I think it was when Zach was in Radio Empire.
Oh yeah,
for like
he was
a week.
in that band.
But maybe, Jess might have just joined the band because he liked the people and played bass just to be a part of it.
You're thinking, you're thinking of Nick Krasinski, I think, because Jess would play drums in that band.
That shows you how sober I was when I showed up to the recording session. You're right. I think you're just fundamentally right. He was definitely on drums in that band.
When we were on tour, we toured with Radio Empire, and Jess was the drummer of that band, and we shared a drum set.
Sure. No, you're not wrong. You're definitely correct. I apologize. And
you're still wasted.
You know, yeah. Well, no. But he was one of those Erie scene kids that I never crossed paths with. Because I look back on Instagram and all these, social networking, and I look at the people that were at Iroquois and Academy and this and that. And if you stuck around in Erie and you were active going to 8 Grade Tuesdays or just active in the city, there's only so many people, you end up knowing the people. Erie's not a tiny city, but it's, it's a small version of bigger Rust Belt cities and stuff. But so I guess I just figured I'd run into Jess Catella more than I did, but he seems like a very creative, very nice, one of the guys you'd want to meet, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
He's a really solid dude, for sure. But yeah, so I never adopted his Travis Barker's work mentality, but I admired it. But he's always, kept me wanting to play drums because the dude's just insane. So my last one, it's funny because this is also a cartoon character that I was introduced to when I was like in 4th grade. But for some, like since Pokemon Go came out and it really reignited that flame, I've been watching all the Pokemon shows again. And actually,
in the Indigo League.
Yeah, Kanto region. But yeah, so I've been watching that, and I actually watched them like a year ago or so. I'm watching it again. Ash Ketchum is pretty comparable to Tommy Pickles, I think. The dude just will not settle for less. And, like even the song. So like, I want to be the very best like no one ever was. Like, that's what I want this podcast to be, man. Like, I love his enthusiasm, and I'm all about it.
While I love everything you just said, I just have one question. Do you remember the pilot of the show?
There were a couple. The one where we talked about
Indigo League. He's kind of a dick to his mom. when he wakes up and he has to go to Professor Oak's office the next day, he's late, he's sleeping in, he's like, I feel like he's kind of unpleasant to his own mother. Maybe it's because the dad's not around or whatever.
Maybe because she's banging Professor Oak.
Well, Forrest Gump's mother made sure he got ahead. You know what I mean? Mothers are beautiful creatures that care about their children, but that's not my point. Yes, his drive for success is great. Perhaps I'm being too hard on a young kid who wanted to sleep in and might have had an unpleasant day. Lord knows I didn't have a clean record when I was a young man, a young child. But just wanted to float that past you and see, I do that drive though. That is very you. I mean, you do. You get really into things you discover.
Well, I could also say that my relationship with my mom growing up was maybe a little rocky. So maybe he's the perfect,
Whoa, that's a deep cut there.
Yeah.
Yeah. His relationship with, I never really quite got Brock. I never really quite got Misty. I also never understood if Misty was supposed to be... I never got that cartoon and what the age bracket was supposed to be, I guess, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I can see that. Drive to be the best. He's got a little chip on his shoulder, dives in, You can't knock the hustle, if anything. You know what I mean? Maybe he's a little... how do I phrase it? A little headstrong, perhaps?
Sure.
But I like that. So let's recap your 4 people and the traits that you think, for better or for worse, you possess.
All right.
Your dad, your Tommy Pickles, Ash Ketchum, and Travis Barker. What are the good?
Well, sense of adventure from Tommy Pickles, not something I'm well known for.
You went to Colorado on a whim.
With the exception of that. So.
Okay, well, you're being modest. You're an adventurous. Don't sell you. Okay, so we're doing this podcast. Everyone who's been listening knows the storyline. You, for whatever reason, ended up not being as adventurous for the past couple years. But that's not... We just had a whole episode talking about how we, on an adventure, went down to D.C. on a whim. You know what I mean? On a quick lie to my mom. You know what I mean? Like, you are an adventurous SOB, and whatever, don't sell yourself short. You're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and you're adventurous. I might... That's what I'm going to say. That's all.
All right, cool. I'll take it. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Trying to channel a little more of that, I guess. What were the others? I already forgot. Travis Barker. I mean, that is just, that was something, I guess, more of the past, not too relevant anymore. Although, I mean, I guess him with the whole Ash Ketchum thing, like just wanting to be like, when you think of drums, he wants you to think of him, right? Like, you want to be ubiquitous in whatever field you are in. You want to be, like, in the world of tissues, you want to be Kleenex, right? You just, even
right.
Like Kleenex, like, grab me a Kleenex. It's the brand.
Right, they don't say tissue, they say Kleenex.
Right, like.
Well, let me say this real quick. In the world of rock and roll drummers, Neil Peart with Rush generally gets, well, I'm just saying what the good people of the world tend to say.
I know what they say.
The dude can play some drums. I mean,
Can he, though?
Is that, well?
Or can he just bang a bunch of cymbals?
Well, Tom, listen. Yes. I mean, hands down, yes. You can't just, I mean, we're going to lose all of our San Diego Rush fans if you keep
if
behaving
you have
this
something
way.
to say, tweet at us at _Reminiscent FM.
That's right. It's not that hard. But Neil Peart, he brings the thunder. You got to give credit where credit's due. I know you're a new school kid, but I got to say that. But you know what? I saw a Rolling Stone ranking, or maybe my dad told me, but Travis Barker barely cracked the top 100. And I am just sitting here thinking, are you fucking high? Like, okay, so let's... what the is wrong with you people? Like, so I'm okay with... Because like, old school people are like, wasn't the same back in the day. New school people are like, you're not even listening. Are you even listening? You know what I mean? To the new people that are bringing the thunder. And Neil Peart obviously brought the thunder. I will concede that. But in terms of the speed and any style, Barker can just accomplish any combination of sounds. Like literally, any speed, any style. And like, the dude can just perform any drum task there is, right? He's almost robotic in his mastery. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, the dude's brilliant.
And I just don't understand why people are they just hating because Blink is pop punky and pop punk has become I don't know. I just don't understand it. I mean, and even if you're talking about the discussion of like drummers joining bands and making them better, like Dave Grohl, for example. Nirvana was a garage band. He joined them. They came out with Nevermind, and I might be getting the timeline wrong, but after he joined, their fame came. And he really brought, for a three-piece, all three pieces need to bring something to the table, and he made them rock. And, so if you're even looking not even on technical skill and just like what they bring to the band, Blink had come out with Dude Ranch, and they weren't famous until Enema, right? Is that fair?
I think that Dude Ranch definitely had some commercial success. But,
Okay.
But I don't think you can put them on the same wavelength there.
Right, because that's that slappy dude, the alcoholic roommate they had, right? I guess what I'm trying to say is not only does Travis have the technical skill and speed in any style, again, accomplish any task, he was the dude that joined the train before Enema came out and made it hit so hard on all those tracks we mentioned earlier in the podcast. Anyway, I just, that was a tangent for sure, which I'm known to do on this podcast, but I just can't fucking understand why him and Neil Peart aren't both at the top.
Well, also, Travis Barker's the guy who played with a broken wrist, broken ribs, a broken foot, and played an entire show with his left foot.
He's done it with 2 limbs, 3 limbs, whatever. You know what I mean? He's still, you know what I mean? If you want to throw the dude from Poison up there, is that the right band? The dude that had 1 arm?
No, that was Def Leppard.
Def Leppard, that's right. My apologies. Is Poison even yeah, they might be a hair band, but he's up there just because of what he did and what he accomplished. But yeah, I just think Barker deserves more respect, and I'm sticking up for one of your heroes here. Is what I think.
Thanks,
I think
man.
why I went on that tangent, but it's just like I hate nostalgia and I hate baby boomers sometimes. Somebody posted on Facebook and they were like asking about somebody who used to bring the thunder with their voice versus Florence from Florence and the Machines, and everyone was just shitting on Florence for Florence and the Machine, which is one of the best rock and roll voices. I don't care. I just don't care. You know what I mean? Like, just because nobody our age was old enough to attend the original Woodstock. You know what I mean? It's like, are you going to sit here and tell me Florence from Florence and the Machines can't fucking wail? It's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? You know what I mean? Like, we're not saying any of your acts were bad. It's just, I don't know. It just upsets me, and I'm sorry for derailing this.
Well, that's fine, man. But yeah, I mean, I think he and Elon Musk are pretty, similar. And I've talked about him, right? This dude just does not give in. He was
Travis and Elon Musk,
same people.
And Tommy Pickles and Ash Ketchum. They want to be
All
the
of
best
them.
sense of adventure.
Yep.
Okay.
But yeah, right now Elon Musk is totally my driving force for.
Well, you got that entrepreneurial with the podcast network, that drive, right? That has to be your life right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is.
Yep.
I always see you working. You're always posting to social media. I don't know when you fucking sleep, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
you're running like
not
7
enough.
Twitter accounts. I don't know how you keep the passwords straight.
Yeah, and they're all different too, man. It's killing me.
All right, I'll go.
Yeah, do it.
So the 2 main ones are TJ Detweiler from the cartoon Recess that used to be on one Saturday morning on ABC, and the other is Woody from Toy Story. Oh. But before I get into it, and that's like my moral compass for sure. I have a third one I want to talk about later, but somebody I look up to more than anything. But something that blew my fucking mind a couple weeks ago is Jacob Gordon's brother Andrew visited, and we went to the art museum, and we were just talking about stuff, and in Cleveland, that is. He was up from Pittsburgh with Dave Kouse, but we were talking about Woody, and I was like, but Woody is good. He's everything that is good, and he's part of, he wants the team to succeed, and he is always brave, and he is always this and that. And, the positive things I view him as and for, and then Andrew was like, yeah, but, if you look back at some of these Disney characters, they're flawed so beautifully. Like, everything's fine and dandy as long as Woody's in charge, and that's kind of what you see in the first Toy Story. Like, he can't really handle it. He's almost sociopathic, and maybe that's the wrong word for it, but when Buzz comes in and might be the new leader, he's just new. He's not really a threat, and Bo Peep still loves him, still loves Woody, that is. So he almost loses his mind just because a new person arrives. Again, they sort it out, and throughout the course of the movies, they become friends, and I think I'm talking about Woody as a whole, but when Andrew came to me and said that really shook me, man. Like, do you need to be in charge and have things going well to be happy things are going well, or something like that?
Right,
that was a crazy mind warp for this childhood hero of mine. Any thoughts?
Well, he definitely wasn't at his best in the second movie.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, no, he gets kidnapped. It's Stockholm Syndrome, right? It's Stinky Pete, or is it Stinky Pete, or
Well, there's definitely some manipulation going on there from Stinky Pete. But yeah, I mean, he kind of turned his back on his friends after they risked their lives to go rescue them. He's like, get out of here.
Okay, I'm gonna claim Oh God, I hate when people poke holes through Woody's character storyline because, again, this is legitimately my moral compass. Is he a narcissist, sociopath? From the first movie, those are the two flaws. Is he easily susceptible to Stockholm Syndrome in the second one? That's true. But then he kind of realizes what he's worth, too, though. You know what I mean? Dude's a legend at his craft, being a toy and whatnot. And he didn't even know that. You know what I mean? And he's got to live with that, man. No, just kidding. But, he, like they say in the movie or whatever, I'm a fucking piece of gum, or what, whatever. Like I'm a
What?
toy. Like they make all this merchandise. Like
I'm on a yo-yo.
Yeah, I think might be the line. But so man, that fuck you, Tom.
Sorry, dude.
No, it's good. You're right. He does give up on it. And they come so far tue. For toys to actually go across town, you know what I mean?
It doesn't happen that often, I'll tell you.
Wait, it did happen in the first movie, now that I think about it. Why are they always leaving the house?
And in the third one. It happened in every movie.
They are just not content, anyway. But I think the strengths I'm trying to think of here are, he thinks of the team. He always has something to say to Slink, and, the Etch-a-Sketch even. Even the Etch-a-Sketch has a little inside joke with him. I always kind of envied that. And you might not have been there at Iroquois, but in third grade there was this kid named Whitney he was real quiet but played tennis, and I always enjoyed just bringing tennis up with him. Now I think about it, he's probably pissed off at me for not ever talking to him anything more than just about tennis, but I thought he liked me for just stopping and saying hello. Anyway, that brings me to my next one, TJ Detweiler from Recess.
Can I just tell you right now, I don't think I've ever seen that show.
Okay, I will take that information and breathe twice before I respond, I suppose. No, that's okay. The more I learn about stuff, the more I realize my tastes are often awful, and people don't watch the exact same things I do or appreciate them at the moments I appreciate them. That's why I stopped tweeting, to be quite honest. Like, I would tweet at like 3 a.m. like, yo, Lost is crazy. And people would quote tweet me and be like, said a guy in 2004. I'd be like, that's a super accurate and apt commentary on what I said. Like if Twitter existed in 2007 or whatever. It's just like, but can you just appreciate the fact that I'm just watching the fact that they opened the gate or whatever the hell? Anyway.
Never seen that show either.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It rocked my world when I saw it, that's for sure. But, so Recess was basically 6 friends at a middle school causing mischief. TJ was an open green jacket wearing red hat backwards. I was never a backwards hat kid, but, are you familiar with the character at all?
No.
Okay, well, he would always be the leader of these schemes to have success as a class or as a recess person. He just wanted everyone to have ice cream that day, or everyone, you know what I mean? Just like, oh, this again for lunch? All right, Vince, I got a plan. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
just always, it was like chaotic good or something. It was like chaos for the greater good. And him and Principal Prickly had an understanding because he was in the office so much, like, listen, you know what I'm fighting for. It was almost like negotiations between the union leader and you know what I mean? It's like.
Wait, Principal Prickly?
Was the name of the principal, yeah.
Was he a dick? So they named him Prickly?
Yeah. But he also had a soft side. He had like a mustache, and then there was this evil teacher who ran the cafeteria, Mrs. Finster. And she had a little inside rat named Randall, who was a student who always reported to her. And it's actually a great show. It was way ahead of its time.
Was that Chucky's dead mom, Mrs. Finster?
Oh, maybe. You know what, Tom? I almost might make that my homework assignment for you is please go watch Recess. I think you'd like it.
Okay.
Anyway, so TJ, there's one episode that is the negative characteristic of his that I will go into now for the sake of me trying to explain his character arc. There's an episode where one person in school doesn't like him and he finds out. And he spends the whole recess. He wastes an entire recess, which is the name of the show, the whole point. Like, this is where we get to have fun, you know? There was a king of the playground. There was the swinger girl. There was the hustler kid. There were the digger kids. There were, you know, it's just all these random characters. But that was the point, and that's where they had their fun. But he wasted an entire recess just trying to get this one kid to like him. And at the end, the kid was like, I don't know, why does it mean so much to you? I just don't know you that well. I don't really care for you. You know, you're always running around. You're trying to make me like you so hard. You're making me like you less, you know? And that was, that kind of stung basically as much as the Woody thing stung, where Woody tries to, everything's cool as long as he's the dude running the show and things are going well, you know what I mean?
Right.
It was the working so hard to get everyone to like you, you end up exhausting yourself and type, you know, it's some two real lessons to have pre-age of 16, you know what I mean? Like, two pretty harsh realizations, I suppose. But I identified with them a great deal, and those are my two. Those are my main ride or die fictional childhood biddies, I guess, homeboys, if you will.
All right, you had more than that though, right?
I was gonna mention a third, but this is more of a hero I look up to and aspire to be.
Okay.
Sherlock Holmes, and it's not just a name thing. I've been watching Sherlock, the BBC version lately. I hadn't got to it before. I try to consume as much Sherlock Holmes stuff as I can. Just because he's flawed. He has a drug problem in some versions of his character. But he's also musical and creative. He plays the violin or whatever the string instrument he plays. And he's just kind of haunted by his awareness or something. I'm not saying anything like that, because some versions suggest he has Asperger's. You know what I mean? Some versions go as far as to say as he's not totally center on the scale, obviously. But
Right.
What am I trying to say? I've always, you know, he focuses on deduction a great deal, but he also takes time to not talk first when he enters a room, you know? But he's ready when people ask him. You know what I mean? Like, he'll go in and you know the trick. It's on the movies and stuff. Just obviously you've been hearing
Right,
here.
right.
You know, it's just I always admired. You don't just waltz into a room and start speaking loudly first. You know what I mean? Just like be prepared if it's your turn to talk. But just because you don't have that much to say at first doesn't mean you're not a big player in the room. You know what I mean? I guess I've always kind of loved that. Like that mentality, like, I know I'm the smartest motherfucker in the room, but I don't have to prove it to anybody. And you just have, like, you're above all the, not above in the sense that you're better, just like there's better things we could be accomplishing together if we just didn't go through all the procedural, cultural, I don't know. Is this making any sense, or am I sounding like a dick? It's just like, I don't care. Like, I'll say hi or this or that or bye. I don't really like talking to people some of the time, but most of the time I do. It's just like not everybody's having the greatest day, and being a human's tough inherently, you know? And it's just like, he's, you know, and the thing is, he doesn't take a case unless it's, I don't know. It's just the way he notices, the way he's thinking about others, how it'll affect, you know, it's like, he's not if he goes to get a sandwich, he's going to think about how multiple different people feel and look and are on his way to go get that sandwich. And I think that awareness of how your actions affect others and just kind of thinking a few moves ahead, not that life is chess or any bullshit like that. It's just being more aware. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he walks miles in people's shoes and is the most empathetic character, because he's kind of a narcissist as well, but I've envied his ability to be aware, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
I am, because I am not the brightest guy. I don't think.
I don't say that.
Well, I appreciate that, but, you know, my brother is definitely more book smart than I am, and you become aware of certain things when your SAT scores come in high school. But I have always been a big fan of how much you can notice just by thinking about things from different perspectives, and yeah, I've always envied that. So I'll throw him on there for sure.
Awesome. Yeah,
But he doesn't crack the top two.
Okay. Yeah, I have a really hard time of and it's something I've been trying to work on. When there's a task in no direction of how to accomplish it, usually the first thing that comes to my head, I just like full force go towards, and I don't just take a second to be like, all right, is this the best way to do it? What are the ups and downs of doing it this way? Is there a faster, more efficient way? Like, how is everything going to play out after I take this first step? And it leads to a lot of inefficient work quite often.
I don't know if it's the way I'm wired or if it's a mentality that I get from my dad, but almost like clockwork, it is my initial instinct to not do what I'm told. And it has got me into trouble throughout the years, big time. Not that I've never not just shut up and done it, because my dad also made sure I did that, just right. Like, why don't you go ahead and take the trash out, Pat? Like, yes, sir. Oh, it's cute that you like thought of, it's just like, I know I'm wired that way too, but why don't you take the fucking trash out, boy? Like, no, he never said that, but he used his tones very, very well. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like, hey, do this, and these are the materials you have, and this is the, it's just like, well, why are we doing this? Is my first thought, not like, okay, step one, like, what's the play here? What's the, what I mean? It's kind of, maybe all humans are like that. Maybe I'm just being an idiot and not aware that everyone thinks that way. But, we've talked about this in past podcasts. We've talked about the Stanford prison experiment and how some people are wired to play ball in different ways depending on what role they've been assigned,
Yeah, sure.
And there's certainly some of the prisoners wanted to rebel more than others. There was one prisoner who was just like, I am here to be the most well-behaved prisoner, sir. You know what I mean? Like, I am here to better myself in the eyes of justice, and I will do those 10 more push-ups, sir. And to him, that was for the greater good, and that's kind of, it's admirable in its own sense, or whatever the f***. I don't want to go back into that discussion, but maybe some people are wired to, I don't know. I'm anxious to hear what you have to say, because I'm going to say, I already sound like a douchebag. I'm already like regretting doing this episode. Just given the strengths and cons of my three.
I don't know, man. I kind of lost track of what we were.
So here's my quick analysis of both of us.
All right,
you're an adventurous guy who wants to be the best in his field, but perhaps you're a little scatterbrained.
Oh, yeah.
I have the team in mind and want to be a leader, but perhaps I'm a bit of a narcissist who has trouble dealing with people who are also leader-minded, and it bugs me. You know what I mean?
It's hard, dude.
It's so hard to be like a bigger person. Yeah, I don't know. That's the stuff you got to work on, right? Is the first step being self-aware, I guess? I don't fucking know.
Definitely, yeah, man.
But like, if I get a new coworker who's about my age, but like definitely more handsome, which wouldn't be that hard, it's just like, you know what I mean? It's just like, like, so I'd be constantly trying to be, I don't know, maybe I'd be quiet. I don't really know. I'm a little different than I was maybe 10 years ago, but, oh man, this is a crazy exercise that I did not foresee feeling this way when I recommended it this morning.
Huh. Yeah. Well, I mean,
but how do you feel?
I don't know, man. I feel like there's definitely a trend with the people that I've looked up to, but I've never done the work to be as much like them as I think I would like to. Like, really, like you said, I'm like super scatterbrained. Like, I want to do this one thing for 2 months, and then it's like it never happened, and I want to do the next thing. Like, I've never focused on something long enough to like be the best or even like well above average at it, I think.
Is the podcast network a version of your next, like, are you aware that that's the current state you have to be in to make this thing work? Or is that like your inner Tom in more ways than one coming out wanting to make this thing work? Or
I was kind of nervous that it would just be, and it's funny because my mom wouldn't buy me the drum set when I was 11 because she said it's just a phase, you'll grow out of it.
And they're expensive in her defense.
Well, yeah. Well, I've been playing for like 14 years, so like some things aren't just a phase, right? But yeah, I mean, I guess I did have hesitation about wanting to run a podcast network as just being a phase, and especially getting that deep into it when it's costing me a lot of money.
It's true. I mean, we're getting downloads and stuff, but it's not like we're getting MeUndies or Squarespace endorsements. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which they're both great products.
We would though.
Yeah.
But yeah, but over the past year, I've come to realize that like I am an entrepreneur, and I have been since I was like 8. I mean, I wanted to like buy a plane ticket to Florida to go see family over there. And I like called the local country fair, like the gas station, and did a car wash there, and had I hired like 8 friends to wash cars for me. I talked them into doing it for free, and I got like $100, and I bought my plane ticket. Like, that's just the way I've been.
That's the coolest story I've ever heard for so many fucking reasons. But one of those reasons is $100 to get to Florida on a plane back in 1998 or whatever the fuck it would have been.
Yeah. Oh man, $99 round trip, baby.
9/11. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Dank memes melt steel beams, motherfucker.
But yeah, so like that's always the way it's been, and I've realized like within the last year that like I needed to start my own business and work for myself, because I just feel like
it's that adventurous spirit, man.
I'm never going to be happy working for someone else, knowing that like I'm not getting 100% of the work that I put in. Like,
well, do you have a financial plan for this, podcast network? I mean, you got to get a certain amount of, you got to get these things on air, build followings. I mean, get the numbers up. I mean, MeUndies isn't just going to be buying all of our salaries up. You know what I mean? Like next Tuesday or anything. Like, I don't know. You're definitely in the thick of the most recent project for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've got plans. I'm working up contracts, digital marketing plans, social marketing plans, email marketing campaigns. One show was in pre-production, another one is about to start. Got graphic design going. I'm working on the website every day. I'm writing blog posts. I'm getting people to write for the show. I'm writing my own.
Let me ask this.
Interviews.
If you don't mind me asking.
Yes.
Yeah. So you and I are pretty self-aware guys, I think. Or at least in this podcast, we're comfortable enough with each other as, best friends throughout the years to call each other on our own shit. This is a really cool thing you're doing. And I'm just going to ask for the sake of the listeners who are probably dying to, know, but are you scared?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, absolutely fucking terrified.
Yeah.
Because
who wouldn't be, right?
Yeah, I mean, because I think that the people that I have on board right now, some of them already have like I don't want to say like a built-in audience, but like they already have their own following, so it won't be like building from the ground up, I don't think. I know it's a different medium than what they usually do, but I don't have the money for this, man. Like, I'm prepared to be maxing out credit cards just to get the thing running and hoping for the best. I mean, I feel like I have a good enough plan, like a business plan laid out, that it may not fail as hard as, it could, but I'm doing everything I can to avoid it. But one of the biggest things that I've learned from all the like entrepreneur podcasts I've listened to is like failure is an option. A lot of people who have like multi-billion-dollar companies had, 5 failures before that. So like this might not be the last thing that I do. I mean, right now it's definitely the thing that I want to be doing, and it's a thing that I can see myself doing 5 years from now and still being happy, whereas I can't really say that about like anything else.
Well, I wonder if the guy who made the GoPro was passionate about GoPros. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That dude failed. I forget what he failed at before that. It's in a commercial somewhere, some long-form commercial on YouTube, but he was like, and then everyone laughed at me, but then I was like, F you, I made the GoPro, and now I don't play it, so deal with it. It's just, it was kind of interesting. Like, do you just take your lumps and learn and look for your opportunities? You know what I mean? It's definitely, I know I couldn't do it. I really don't. It definitely takes some motherfucking cojones to do what you're doing, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And you are doing it. I mean, you went out to Denver, you got a job, and now you're in the middle. I guess we'll just see, right?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's things are going to be happening never as fast as you'd like them to, but it'll be happening quickly.
Never. You doing your taxes yet?
Oh God, I haven't even paid my property tax from like last October. I mean, I think I'll probably get money back, but I can't even think about money right now, dude. I just saw that. I just got an email as we were talking that my PayPal balance is negative $280 because something went wrong. I'm trying to figure out if that money is accounted for somewhere. I don't even have that much in my bank account right now. So, and I owe Megan $800 for rent this month. Add it to the tab, I guess.
Hey, everyone. Listen and follow and talk to us. This is a podcast, and this is a podcast network called Elemental FM, brought to you by Tom Kelly. Follow us on Twitter at Reminiscent FM. And I forget everything else.
It's at _ Reminiscent FM.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I think that's what I said. Elemental.fm, is that the website?
Yep.
Well, there's cool stuff going on. I mean, even if at its core you don't even like us, let's just say you sadistic San Diego motherfuckers are just sitting there for whatever weird reason, not engaging, just listening, hoping we talk about the monkeys again. At the very least, go to the website to look at there's some cool stuff. I don't know, I hate to self-promote too much, but the Julien Baker producer and the Moose Blood producer stuff, and it's all very nice. It's good content at the very least. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I know.
At its core, it's good content. So anyway, you want to do next week's recommendations? What'd you think of the Martha song, by the way?
So you had me listen to it. Would you want to do highlights of the week?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Let's do highlights of the week now. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da. That's where you were supposed to play the...
Ba-da-da.
It was too obvious of a setup, I guess. Let's do it now. Anyway, what's your highlight of the week?
I just think like the new job and constantly trying to like evaluate like how much.
Do you have a good one this week?
Yeah, I mean, and constantly like yesterday I sat on a computer for 8 hours and I made more money in that one day than I would have made in like 4 days at UPS. So
ooh, nice.
I mean, that's
gotta feel good.
That's not hard to compete with. I mean, I got paid bullshit at UPS and we worked short days, so it's not like that big of an accomplishment, but it feels good, and I'm really happy. I feel really lucky to be there. It's really hard work. It's kicking my ass.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Well, they say money can't buy happiness, but if you get up to like somewhere between the minimum would be like what 60 or 70. I saw some documentary that was like money can't buy happiness, but ... was like the title or whatever, and it's like if you get to if you get to 60 or 70, right? By the time you're midlife, whatever. If you get to 100, that's the cutoff. That's the ceiling. So, like, there's a minimum to get you out of the worries of, I guess, day-to-day, lower middle class type stuff. But there is a ceiling on what. So it's interesting. They say money can't buy happiness, but, there is a certain amount of money that gets you to the regular, I don't know, day-to-day stuff of being a human being in 2017. That helps. That helps the day-to-day stuff not be quite as stressful.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I'm trying to say in a very long-winded way is, it's nice to hear that you have a job. That's a good highlight of the week. I mean, this podcast started, 12 episodes ago. 12 weeks. 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Pre-Trump administration.
Ooh, good times.
Back in the day. We can say that this podcast started back in the day, I think, based on that alone. But, it's that's a good highlight of the week because you were just driving out to Denver when we started, so that's good.
Yeah.
Mine would be that I went to Athens, Ohio this weekend with some friends. I actually they had asked me to go speak on like this panel thing.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. I wanted to say no because most of my friends that worked at the paper are kind of like power to the people, don't play ball types. You know what I mean? Like Dr. Cox and Scrubs. Just kind of like, why would you play ball? That's kind of lame. I don't know. Anyway, I went and did it, and I thought it was going to be like a wiener measuring contest between the panelists, but well, that's what some of the people that work for the Post, my old college newspaper, sometimes they don't like the dog-eat-dog journalism stuff, because some people are wildly successful, and the mass majority are in the middle, and then there's some that, didn't, whatever. But it was really fun. It was, I sat on the broadcast panel, not the print panel, because that's what I went into work doing. I'm a web writer for a TV station, but it was, at the end of the day, it was just a bunch of scared kids that went to the school I used to go to that were happy we showed up and really curious about things as trivial as what to put on your resume. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
And when they first asked, and I don't even know why I was asked there was some PR graduate from a grade above me that sent me an email like months ago, do you want to show up? And I'm like, well, I don't know, am I even qualified? But at the end of the day, it was just people that graduated showing up to help out people that haven't yet, hey, if you haven't done this, there's a lot of people that didn't do this at your point. Here's a few things. And we just helped them out, and I think they were gracious for the time, and it was fun. It was there was some girl that came up afterwards that was like, hey, I'm from Erie, PA. I went to Girard. I was like, oh yeah, go Yellow Jackets. Yeah, dude. And it was I thought it was going to be a little more political type random BS, but it was actually just everything OU stands for, which is just, the Bobcat family type vibe. So that was a really good highlight. And I talked to some old friends that visited in town. We got an Airbnb in town and, had a couple days of drinking and goodness, and got me excited to go to Cincinnati with Jesse. And I don't know. I don't know where I want to live, but I do think Ohio is a good parameter to set for now. Yeah. I do like this place. I do love the state. There's a lot to see. It's got a lot going on. It's definitely more red than, I guess, hell, it's a swing state. It's a lot of blue, a lot of red. But I do like this place, which was kind of a cool realization. That's my highlight of the week, I guess, is something about what's going on feels right and good. So
in Cleveland specifically, or just Ohio?
Just Ohio, okay. Because I'm definitely moving to Cincy. She's going to have an offer soon from a couple places there. Nothing's final. You never know what can happen, and who knows what she's going to wake up to in her inbox tomorrow morning. But if I do end up moving to Cincinnati with her, I'm excited. I'm just, I'm open to anything. You can drive to Indianapolis or Louisville for concerts if you live in Cincinnati, and it's a nice river town. And I think Ohio is a good place. I just don't know where within Ohio I'm going to end up putting my roots, I guess.
Right.
But this is the highlight of the week. This isn't speculation. I'm in my 20s wham-what time. It's just like, hey, I narrowed it down a lot. I have a lot of good friends that live here, and we're getting close. The book's not closed, all that stuff. This is, we haven't even made it to 30 yet, but I'm comfortable and I'm good and it's nice. That's basically it.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, that's got to be a good feeling knowing where, you're at least close to where you want to end up.
Yeah, I mean, I went to New Mexico like, born to run, motherfucker. It's like, I'll go anywhere. I don't care. I don't need anybody. But it turns out I do. It turns out a lot of the people I do need are pretty close to where I'm at now. So
awesome.
Yeah, it's weird growing up and getting all sentimental and all that. So
yeah,
but that's my highlight of the week is inching closer to death. No, just kidding. Inching closer to where I might end up living for a while and all that. So
good. That's really good to hear, man.
John.
So you listened? Did you listen to the Martha song?
I listened to it when you sent it to me, like back in October.
Months. Okay. It's hard not to like, I guess.
You said that it's like a British Wonder Years, which I violently disagree with. It was good. I didn't love it. Obviously,
okay.
I didn't revisit it. It had some really catchy parts to it. It was a little more, like, I don't want to say like frantic, but not as like structured as like, well, the Wonder Years, first of all. But also, I'm gonna say this, but the recording quality.
Oh my God, Tom. You can't become an indie darling podcast and keep harping on this fucking recording quality. You're not going to get that many 21-year-old whizzes that are making Julien Baker sound like a goddess.
No, the song you sent was definitely good. The rest of the album, that was the strongest song of the album, I think. So I'll say that.
Super fair. I've only listened to a couple on that album. I think that's just a very good song for what it is. Summertime vibes.
Yeah. And you
So
obviously...
our recommendations for this next week.
Okay, so you're gonna hate it.
I'll go first.
You're gonna hate it.
Well, okay.
You want to go first?
No, no, go ahead.
Okay, you're gonna hate it, and I'm sorry, but 3 years ago, I was working at a recording studio with this guy Taylor Larson. He's a metal producer. They were recording a band from West Virginia called Curses, and I didn't play the drums, but I tracked the drums for the entire album. And I was on vacation while they were recording guitars, but I was there for like all the vocal production, which Spencer Sotelo, the singer of Periphery, like this really, really huge metal band. I sat with him and like worked on like the vocals with him. And it took like 2.5 years for this album to come out, and it came out this week.
Ooh.
And
is it on Spotify?
Probably, yeah. I'll send you a link.
Okay.
You're gonna hate it. The chorus is like it's a singing chorus, but it's like the rest of it's like super heavy. But
you're a little more heavy than I am.
Yeah.
But that little giggle.
I can't take credit for like any of the way that this album sounds because that is 100% Taylor. But I did hit record.
But you did
and
play
stop.
the drums.
No, I didn't play the drums.
Oh, okay.
I just tracked it. So my buddy Ernie was playing drums. I was in the control room tracking them. And
cool. Because you were a music producer for a little bit there.
Yeah, well, yeah. But I learned my editing style on that album. Like every single hit is perfectly lined to the grid, and there's like tens of thousands of edit points, and you have to be able to do a song in like 45 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like insane. So I learned the method that Taylor does, and it's the reason I do all the things I do when I'm recording and editing. So that album means a lot to me just because it really
give me the name of the band and the name of the album again.
The band is called Curses. The album is actually, I don't even know the name of the album. It is called Chapter 1 Introspect.
You heard it here first, folks. Go out and listen to it. Let us know what you think. Curses. Name of the album again, sorry.
Chapter 1 Introspect. And
Chapter 1 Introspect.
And the song that I like the most is the second song, catchiest chorus. It's called The Abandoned.
The Abandoned. Hold on. I got to find my pen and write this down. And while I do write it down, I'll tell you I'm not doing a music one this week. I'm going to recommend the app Overdrive.
Ooh.
Okay. It is basically, so you know how you're in the car and you only listen to the same music over and over? This is an app in which you can plug in your library card information and you have access to audiobooks. And it just makes it easier for you. I don't know. I'm a big, you kind of turned me onto this just by starting the podcast and how you were saying you were just spending your time listening to podcasts and ebooks and things like that. Someone over the weekend in Athens was like, well, do you have Overdrive? You can just enter your library card info and have access to anything, basically. So I've been watching Sherlock a lot lately, and I recently downloaded the audio version of The Adventures of Sherlock or whatever, one of the Conan Doyle short story collections, things like that. So if you're tired of listening to the same old Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet greatest hits CDs that are stuck in your car, shout out to that CD. It's amazing. And to Bob Seger himself. But, if you want to feel like you're bettering yourself and listen to a few books while you're driving instead of just wasting your time on sports talk radio or whatever the you're into.
I would never do that.
Well, I know you wouldn't, but we're talking about Overdrive, the app, and get a library card if you don't have one already. I'm a big library guy.
Yeah.
And just start listening to some how do I say? Some shiznit or some shizzle?
Shiznits.
Shiznits. Ah, yes, indeed. So go ahead and scoop yourself up some shiznits on the way to the shiznit store and go better yourselves, people. There's a lot of information out there, so consume it, and that might be an easier way to do so.
And put your phones on vibrate, people.
That's right. Did you hear mine buzzing on my lap just now?
Yeah. No worries.
It was, Jessie, bless her heart, always calls on the nights, even if I tell her ahead of time. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. I want to tell you that we'll have a night where one of these recording sessions isn't interrupted by her calling.
Dude, whatever.
But distance is hard, and I might wrap up this episode by saying I want to call her back as soon as possible.
Hey, we're done anyways.
That's true. We usually fit it in before her show's over, but I don't know what it is. I always tell her, and she still calls.
She misses you, man.
She does, and I miss her. So I think I might wrap this up, and we have our recommendations on file, and go be good to each other, everybody. There's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of good to be doing. Tweet at us at _Reminiscent FM. Let us know who your childhood heroes were.
Yeah, definitely.
And why.
All in 140 characters.
That's right. Keep it short, you sons of San Diegoans.
Well, I will talk to you next week and possibly before then.
I'll probably call you after I call Jesse, to be quite honest.
Oh, don't do that. I'm going to be asleep.
Okay. All right. Sweet dreams, BB.
Thanks, dude. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Love you, man. Bye.
Ba 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 ba.